Hello, everybody. Mr. Royans here. Um, Today we're going to start doing some writer's workshop, and I want to focus in and I want to finish up these narratives we kind of started crafting. About a week and a half ago, I asked you to come up with the basic skeleton of a narrative story, and I asked you to it can be whatever you wanted. The setting was, did you want to write science fiction? Write science fiction. If you wanted to write a historical fiction, that's fine. If you wanted to write realistic fiction, that's fine. Remember, a narrative is something to entertain. Okay? Something to entertain via a story. It's just a story that you're telling so that we can be like, whoa! And what I want to focus on today is narrowing down the plot. Okay? We talked about plot, I think it was before Christmas break. But remember, plot is what happens to a character. There's the beginning, the introduction, then there's a rising action, then there's the climax, falling action, and then the resolution. How is it solved? And what you're going to be tasked with today, and what we're going to work on together today, is crafting a well-written plot. Now, the only stipulation I have for these is you're going to have one page to tell your story. Just one page. So it's got to be something that you can introduce, have the action happen, and then wrap up in one page, typed on the Pages app. Okay? So what I want you to think about as we do this is I want you to think about the elements of plots, the elements of a narrative introduction. So you're going to first start off establishing a situation for your character. Okay? The character's this means it's the character's problem, it's a conflict, a wish, a want, a need, or a goal. Okay? There is a problem that your character is introduced to that has to be solved. That is the situation that has to be established. So you should have your character, and then you need to have a situation. What situation? So if you have, let's look at Cinderella. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with the story of Cinderella, right? She was basically a mistreated. She was the daughter of a royal dude. He died. The evil stepmom took over everything with her stepdaughters, or with her stepsisters, and Cinderella was thrown into the role of the maid because nobody was there to help her. So the problem is, Cinderella has now become a maid. She's nothing to these people. Okay, and she needs to get out. So you establish your situation. What is the problem? What is, or maybe there's a wish. I live on Earth, but I want to live in the clouds. And then you make a story about a character wanting to live in the clouds. Something silly. I don't know. That's just the first thing that popped in my head. So you establish your situation. Then step 2 is you need to say, how is it done? Is there action that moves the plot along? Is there emotional dialogue? And emotional dialogue would be something akin to our read aloud with the first rule of punk, right? There's not a lot of action in that story, a lot of emotional dialogue. Think about the problem in that story. Malu, this girl, she's happy where she lives. And she gets whisked away to the middle of the country, and all of a sudden she has to readjust to her new life there. That's the problem there. And that's set up by emotional dialogue. That's how it's done. That's how the plot is moved along. The emotional dialogue. Malu navigating life, right? And then we need to be able to understand the struggle. And that means you need to remember our 6 traits of writing. You need to use good word choices. What are the word choices you use to help me, because I'll be the one who will be grading your papers, how am I going to understand the struggle of your character? What words are you choosing? What action are you putting in there? What is going on that can help me understand your character's struggle? And this is a no-brainer here. The next step, you guys, the conflict has to be resolved by the end, right? Conflict that is resolved by the end of your story. In this case, 1 page typed in a Pages document. And I'm trying to think how many words are on a page, but because I don't want you guys thinking you have to write some Tolkien epic 1,000-page long, which I'd totally be on board with if you ever wanted to do that for fun. But for me to grade, I want to see that you can craft an interesting narrative with an interesting plot using good word choice, and you can help me understand the struggle of your character. The second part of this video, it's going to be a screen recording where I'm going to be kind of typing up a plot and working through these steps I just went through, but I want you to you see it done as well, okay? So stay tuned. This is the second part of the narrative introductions video. So previously I went through and it was just kind of like me talking to you about it. And what I want to do in this second part of the video is I want to actually show you what I mean when I say to establish the situation. Show me how it's done. Show or tell help the reader understand this character struggle, and then kind of help that the conflict is resolved by the end. So I have opened up a new Pages document, and I'm on my laptop. I will go through and I will make a screen recording tutorial for those of you that might need it on how to craft create a new Pages document for typing up your 1-page narrative story. But for the introduction, the intro, you are introducing us to your character and your plot. You need to think about your character and the stories that you have set up. So I'm just going to randomly pick something that I found a good song and some lyrics I wanted to share with you guys that made me think of, this is a quick, easy little narrative story. So narrative introduction, establish the situation. I'm going to say Lucy. This is my brainstorming idea. Lucy is a spaceship pilot who is humanity's only hope for saving the galaxy. Okay. From evil robots. Bam. Okay. So establish the situation. I'm going to say this is step 1. Establish the situation. What is the character's problem? The conflict, the wish, want, need, or goal. Okay, so let's establish this situation using this as using right here, Lucy is a spaceship pilot. I'm going to actually highlight that if I can. I should be able to format. There's a way to highlight that. Come on. Oops, no. I just want to highlight it so that you guys can kind of see what I am talking about here, like what I'm going to keep referencing, because this is the important part here. This is my brainstorming idea. This girl is going to fight the evil robots trying to take over the galaxy, but that's not enough to say. Okay, I have to come up with the problem. Yeah, these robots have taken over, but what's the character's problem or the conflict? Lucy is called upon to lead an army of spaceships against the evil robots trying to take over our world. She doesn't know if she can do it, but she will try her best. How is it done? Intense action, emotional dialogue, declarative sentence. Well, this would be intense action. I would describe... Well, actually, I'd do intense action and emotional dialogue. Because a person going up into space to fight the evil robots trying to take over our world, there might be some emotional dialogue. She's going to talk to her family, say, hey guys, I don't know if I'll make it back to see you. I love you. The intense action would be the dogfighting of the spaceships, right? So, intense action. There, she... Oh, I misspelled dialogue. I wasn't even paying attention. She will... There will be plenty of intense action. As I describe the dogfights. That's a form of aerial combat. As I describe the dogfights, the space pilots will engage in. The emotional dialogue will be between her and her family. So we need to be able to, readers need to be able to understand the character's struggle. It needs to sound good by word choice. She, I could say, she is scared. She is scared. That's, boring. You say, Lucy is terrified of the upcoming battle. The soldiers were trembling with fear as they approached the fight. Humanity was on the edge of, that's not how you spell edge of their seat, waiting for the outcome of the battle. And then conflict that is resolved by the end. Actually, just going to say the conflict is resolved by the end. She ends up saving the day by destroying the mothership that controls all the robots. Bam. Now, it might be a little derivative, little drivel, but that's just something I came up with on the fly based on this one sentence. Lucy is a spaceship pilot who is humanity's only hope for saving the galaxy from evil robots. Okay? Now, some of you may be going, I can't do this in one page, Mr. Royans. Well, you're not going to finish writing right yet. You're just going to come up with your plot. Write your plot in pages using these 4 steps. I want you to establish the situation. Okay, what is the situation for your characters? Tell me how it's done. Is there going to be some intense action, emotional dialogue, a declarative sentence maybe where they just say, I'm going to take out the robots? We need to be able to understand the character's struggle in this plot. I'm going to change that to in this plot. Don't just use weak words. Use good word choice. And then the conflict has to be something that is resolved by the end. Okay? And this is going to be more brainstorming kind of thing because you're going to put all this together as you finish up writing your one-page paper, guys. All right? Good.